Hey friends, Mahin here. So 2022 was, for most of us, a time of returning back to normality following COVID, lockdown and travel restrictions. This led to me throwing myself into busy plans and making up for lost time travelling to see new places. However, when reflecting on this year as a whole, I realised that doing more, amongst other bad habits that I've formed, does not necessarily lead to increased happiness or productivity. So in this video, I'm going to let you know the 8 habits that I'm quitting in 2023 and ones you should too. As those of you who've been following this channel already know, my job as a chronic pain specialist physiotherapist means that I meet people from a wide variety of backgrounds and all in different situations. But what I always find interesting is that the challenges that people face daily are very similar. And these shared challenges that my patients, colleagues, family and friends and even myself face largely come from the habits that we've formed. So let's take a look at the 8 habits to quit in 2023. People pleasing and trying to meet other people's expectations is something that I have probably done throughout all of my life and something that I'm trying to get a little bit better at. When we try to meet other people's expectations, what it usually does is takes the focus away from meeting our own expectations. We often think that what we say or what we do has high importance to the way that people perceive us, when in reality, a lot of the time, it probably doesn't. We put a lot more focus on what we think other people think of us than what they actually probably think of us. There's this quote that I've taken from the book Think Like a Monk that always resonates with me. The quote says, "I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am." And I think that is a really good way of how we sum up our identity. People pleasing and meeting other people's expectations is tiring because it means that you end up doing more stuff that potentially you don't want to do in order to appease that person. So it's really important to begin to define your own path if this is something that you struggle with, because it's your life at the end of the day, no one else's, and you are the only person who has any control over it. The other thing that can be exhausting is seeking validation from others, especially those people who don't support or inspire you. Often when we don't get that validation, we try harder to get that validation and that cycle continues. The only validation we should ever try and get is the one from us internally. So in 2023, focus on removing negativity from your life and those people who drain energy from you. Surround yourself with people who bring enjoyment, experience, support, and those people who give you energy instead. Take back control and choose who to say yes to and to spend your time with. And this should always be people who are close to you and those people who give you energy and fill you with positivity. Checking your phone first thing in the morning. So it's not the first time on this channel that I've advised against checking your phone first thing in the morning. When we do this, we are starting off our day in completely the wrong way. We are going from 0 all the way up to 100 as soon as we open up our phone. What we have is we have all of the external stimulus coming into us as quickly as possible. This is further heightened if we're on social media, flicking through lots of different posts, because although we see that as a mindless activity, our brain is quickly focusing on all those different things it's seeing on the screen and trying to adjust and changing its concentration onto the next post and so on. This can be a really kind of traumatic way to start our day for our brain, and it just means it doesn't have that slow, steady build-up that it needs to have to get into the day. This can also drain our energy for the rest of the day and means that our alertness and our concentration is a lot less. The other reason that it starts us off on the back foot is because often, like I've just spoken around other people's expectations, when we open up our phone, what we see is we see messages from other people. Okay, so that happens straight away. But we also see the influence from other people's lives entering ours. So let's say we go onto Instagram, for example, and we look at someone who's on holiday having a great time, because don't forget, Instagram is only ever showing the highlights of our life, okay? There are very, very few accounts that actually show you the lowlights or the day-to-day stuff. But if we're looking at Instagram and we're seeing someone's highlights, and then we know that we've got a day ahead of us that's filled with work or doing other busy things, that might start us off on the wrong foot and maybe not looking forward to that day as much. So mindlessly scrolling through social media is detrimental for so many reasons, especially in the morning, as I've just mentioned, but also at night. When we're looking at our phones in general before we go to sleep at night, it means that our body is receiving a lot of blue light. Blue light mimics the atmospheric light, which tells our body that it's time to be awake rather than to prepare for sleep. This is why people advise against using anything with screens or backlit devices before going to bed at night, because it just suppresses the secretion of melatonin, which is our sleep hormone, which means that either it takes us longer to fall asleep or that we'd never reach the deeper levels of sleep that we need to at night. The other reason that it's important not to sit there scrolling through social media before we go to bed at night is the stimulation that it provides. I've just spoken about this a little bit in terms of our brain needing to switch and focus on all the different things. So although we might feel like it's relaxing, actually in reality it isn't, because our brain is switching to focus on all those different things that are popping up on the screen. And when we're getting that stimulation before bed, what that does is it releases cortisol, which is our stress hormone, which encourages us to stay awake and stay alert rather than prepare for sleep. Finally, scrolling through social media at any point in the day leads to a reduced ability to focus our attention on other tasks that we might have, because our brains become accustomed to constant stimulus and instant gratification. When we are looking through social media, we're constantly getting this dopamine hit after dopamine hit, so that even when we're not using social media, our brains are wanting that constant supply of dopamine. And this can make it really, really difficult to focus our attention on one specific thing, and is usually why we get distracted quite easily. So when I talk about low value things, I'm talking about things that don't provide much meaning or importance to your life. Okay, I'm not talking about like monetary value, for example. You could buy a really expensive t-shirt, let's say, but it might provide you a lot of value for one person. Another person, you might buy a really expensive item of clothing and actually fine in the moment when you bought it and for the first day that you wear it, it gives you a lot of joy, but actually after that it doesn't. So what is classed as low value and high value differs from person to person. Okay, so it is what brings you joy. That is obviously you on an individual basis. But in 2023, something that I'm going to focus on is spending less money on things that maybe don't bring me as much fulfillment. I'd like to focus more on spending my money on experiences and activities, things that are going to bring me lasting joy even after it's happened, rather than more materialistic possessions that maybe don't bring me as much joy for a longer period of time. I think this is going to be particularly important this year with increasing inflation rates and energy bills, with incomes and salaries not quite matching these increases. Because we're having to spend more money on these things, then it means that we have less disposable income to spend on the things that we want to. So it's really important that we actually prioritize what we spend our money on when it comes to our disposable income. I've just talked about the importance of spending our money on more high value things than low value things in 2023, and under high value I include food in that as well, because the negative health consequences of things like processed food is just too great to ignore. We know the impact a poor diet can have on our physical health, but there's a growing body of evidence now to show the link between our diet and mental health as well. If you'd like to understand more about the effect our diet has on our brain and mental health, then I recommend checking out the book Brain Changer by Felice Jacka that I'll leave a link to in the description below. I've previously talked about a simple question to ask yourself to determine whether a food is healthy for you or not. And simply the question is, was this food made by the earth or was it made in a factory? Effectively, we're trying to become aware of whether something is a natural whole food, which is probably good for us, or something that is processed and less good for us. It's so important that we try, where possible, to avoid processed food, as this has a significant impact on our mental health and our physical health, and also inflammation levels within the body, which can increase pain and also the effects of certain conditions like diabetes, heart conditions, and arthritis. But the main reason that I've included stopping eating processed food daily for the second year running in my list of habits to quit is because the world that we live in is making it increasingly difficult to choose a healthier whole foods diet than it is to choose a convenient, poor quality processed food diet. And this is just because of the strength of the food industry and also the marketing and pricing as a result of that. So you can't walk 100 meters in a city now without seeing some sort of fast food restaurant. They litter every single corner and they're on all of the big roads, okay? And because they're so present, they're always at the forefront of our minds. It means that more people go to them, and because more people go to them, it allows them to have their prices that are cheaper. So we've now got convenience, we've also got lower pricing, which keeps people going back to these restaurants, and that cycle just keeps on continuing with those restaurants and those companies becoming stronger and stronger. We also have delivery services now, which means that with just a click of a button, we can order food from the comfort of our couch. That's great. You know, we need convenience in life. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, But what it's doing is it's dominating so much that we're actually going out less now to eat with friends. We are tending to eat unhealthier foods because unfortunately fast foods and delivery-based foods tend to be unhealthier, not always, but they tend to be, which means that these markets are strengthening and they're just continuing to dominate a lot of the real estate that we see out there. And that's why it pops up on our social media feeds more, and it pops up when we're driving down the road more as well. To stop me from rambling on more about this, I have done a previous video on diet that I'll leave a link to in the description below in case you want to watch that. On average, we have about 70,000 thoughts a day. I know that's just an absolutely massive number. But what this shows is our brain is always on the go, okay? And our brain wants to focus on certain things and it wants something to do. Now, this stems back from when we were cave people and our brains needed to be able to look out for dangers and quickly switch into fight or flight mode. Now, even as we and the world has progressed, there is less threat of, let's say, a tiger or a lion eating us, but our brains still need to look out for dangers. So our brains will constantly be on the go, whirring around, looking for threats, looking for dangers, and focusing on those things and entering into fight or flight mode. The dangers and the stresses now in life are more around, not progressing as quickly in our career, not finding a partner, financial troubles that might be out there, health worries that might be out there, rather than, the danger of getting eaten alive or starving to death or whatever it might be. I've also already spoken about limiting our social media or our phone use and the effect scrolling has on our ability to focus and our attention. But I think what's also really important is when we aren't doing those things is to make sure that we're being present and mindful in the present moment. Because when we are being mindful, this actually improves our focus and attention so that we have improved versions of these when we are trying to work or focus on something in particular. Because we have 70,000 thoughts a day, if we don't practice mindfulness, then we're just allowing our brains to go off and do whatever they want to do. So actually, we can have formal mindfulness through guided meditations, and we can have informal mindfulness through just being present when we're doing things like brushing our teeth, focusing on every tooth, or actually eating a meal, taking in the smells, the sounds of us eating, the tastes, of course, and also things like when we're just going out for a walk, listening to the birds, looking to find new things that we might have not seen the previous day. But this is probably one that I am really, really hoping to improve in 2023. And what I'm going to try and do is to stop filling all of my time with activity, and I really want to, get more comfortable with being rather than doing. So number 7 on this list is cramming your to-do list with low priority tasks. I think we're all guilty of doing this where actually, we have actually some things that probably are of high priority, but on our to-do list, we just want to write down, everything that's on there so that we've got it written down. I'm so guilty of doing this. And often what I find is that my day is just packed with stuff. And it's so difficult for me to differentiate between what is high priority and what is actually low priority. And if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority really when we think about it, because what priority means is that something has more importance than other things that we maybe need to do in more of a timely manner. The other thing is when we cram our to-do list with low priority tasks, what it means is that we deliberate over these things for a long period of time. And maybe what we should do is if it's something that's quick and easy to do is just to do it, either in that moment or find a way to stop us from thinking about doing the thing until we absolutely need to do it. And a way of doing this is, I'll use an example of using work emails. So something I've done recently, I used to get work emails on my phone, but what I've now done is I've actually turned off the notifications on my phone, because what I was finding was that after I'd finished work, or on a Monday when I'm not working, for example, and I'm filming these videos, I'll still be getting work emails that are coming through that I look at and go, I probably need to reply to that when I get back to work. And actually what it's doing is, although I might think that I'm not thinking about it, my mind is still deliberating over it. So I'm always worrying about it twice, in the moment when I see the email and then when I actually have to go and action the thing. So I've actually turned off my work emails now, because we don't want to deliberate over things that A, we can't action straight away, or maybe that are actually of low importance. Okay, so finally, number 8 of the habits to quit in 2023. The last one is procrastination. So a little bit of a productivity one, but also a little bit of a self-compassion one as well. So when we're procrastinating, we are avoiding something for some reason. Now, either we're procrastinating and avoiding because the thing that we want to do doesn't really excite us and we don't really put a lot of importance and meaning onto it. So firstly, we have to ask ourselves the question, is it worth even doing at all? That's number one. Or we're procrastinating and avoiding because of fear. Okay, now this is very different. And it's sometimes difficult to know whether we're doing it because of a lack of enjoyment or whether we're doing it out of fear. If we're doing it out of fear, the best thing to do is obviously to do the thing that we want to do. Because the longer that we procrastinate and we avoid for, the more difficult it's going to be to start doing that thing. And the more the fear that builds up, and that cycle keeps on continuing going round. So ask yourself the question, first of all, am I not doing this because it's boring and I don't really want to do it? Or am I doing this because I think it's a little bit hard and, you know, I'm a little bit scared of if it doesn't work out, I might be a failure and all these other things. It's important to think about why you're procrastinating first of all. If it's because it's not of enjoyment or not of importance to you, drop the thing, okay? Make it a low priority task or just take it off your to-do list altogether. But if it's out of fear, then try to do that thing as soon as possible to stop that cycle continue going around that I spoke about. The thing to remember with procrastinating as well, it can be because if we've got too many things going on at once, okay, so coming back to the high priority and low priority stuff. So thinking about what is truly a priority and doing that first. For most of us, the time where we have the most alertness in the day is in the morning between 10 to 12. So actually, can we do the things of most importance then? Okay, and maybe the stuff of lower importance later on, you know, in the afternoon where our alertness is a little bit less. A little bit of food for thought. But if you liked this video, then you love this custom playlist that I've made for you that has my top videos on happiness, productivity, and self-development. It has videos on the 5 morning hacks that changed my life, lessons I learned in my 20s, and overcoming perfectionism, amongst others. So be sure to check out that playlist next. Otherwise, thanks for watching, have a lovely day, and I'll see you on the next video.